We'll start directly with myth number 10, the sugar rush fallacy. Many parents believe that sugar transforms their children into little whirlwinds. However, that notion is entirely false. Researchers conducted a study where some children received sugar, while others were given a placebo, and neither the kids nor their guardians were aware of which group they were in. The outcome was a complete non-event. The children who consumed sugar were no more energetic than those who didn't. Yet, when parents believed their children had ingested sugar, they immediately began to perceive hyperactive behavior. They monitored their children intensely, anticipating any hint of high energy. Did the kid leap up once? They attributed it to sugar. Did the child chuckle? It was a sugar rush. This myth originated in the 1970s when a physician asserted that food additives caused hyperactivity in children. Parents eagerly adopted that belief. A child bouncing around at a birthday celebration? That behavior is likely more related to the party atmosphere than to the slice of cake they consumed. They are thrilled, interacting with pals, possibly lacking sleep. Those children would be equally animated even if offered a sugarless cake. Next up, myth number 9. Your brain is not idle. A common claim is that we utilize merely 10% of our brain. That statement is as accurate as asserting that fish only use a tenth of the ocean. This misconception is so widespread that Hollywood produced complete films around it. Films where a character ingests a magical pill and abruptly masters quantum mechanics while performing backflips. Your brain operates at maximum capacity constantly. Scientists are able to observe brain activity illuminating in real time. With advanced imaging devices, they detect activity across the entire brain continuously, even during sleep. Your brain is functioning, regulating respiration, monitoring cardiac rhythm, and revisiting cringe-worthy memories. The brain accounts for just 2% of total body mass. Yet this high-achieving organ consumes 20% of the body's energy. It is akin to a minuscule heater that devours all your power supply. If 90% of the brain truly served no purpose, evolutionary processes would have eliminated it long ago. Nature does not preserve unnecessary components. The evidence lies in the consequences of damage to any small region of the brain. Even a minor lesion can cause significant issues. This 10% legend probably originated from a Harvard scientist in the 19th century who remarked that people were not reaching their maximum capability. Subsequently, that remark was misinterpreted as meaning we only utilize 10% of our brain. Myth number 8. Falling pennies won't be lethal. You may have heard that a penny dropped from the Empire State Building could penetrate a person's cranium. That is false. When a penny is released from a great height, it begins to descend, accelerating due to gravitational force, but then air resistance intervenes. Air is not a void. It exerts resistance against any object moving rapidly through it. Consequently, the penny collides with air molecules and begins to rotate. After falling roughly 15 meters, it attains terminal velocity, which is only about 40 kilometers per hour. This speed is lower than that of a typical cyclist. Being struck by a penny at that velocity would resemble a flick from a person, irritating but not deadly. If you were to drop that same penny in a vacuum, such as in space, it would achieve speeds exceeding 320 kilometers per hour. However, here on Earth, you are more likely to suffer serious injury from a falling ballpoint pen. These pens are sufficiently aerodynamic to function as miniature arrows. The 7th fact concerns lightning's reputation as a repeat offender. The popular belief that lightning never hits the same spot twice is incorrect. Around 25 occasions annually, the Empire State Building is struck by lightning. A park ranger named Roy Sullivan was hit by lightning on 7 separate occasions. He earned the nickname the Human Lightning Rod and managed to survive every single strike. Following the 4th strike, his colleagues began steering clear of him during thunderstorms. Tall structures often endure repeated lightning strikes. If you're the highest point in an area, such as a solitary tree in a meadow, you're essentially a prime target during a storm. Lightning can discharge from more than 10 kilometers away from the storm's center. These events are termed bolts from the blue because they can emerge from a seemingly cloudless sky. You might be outside when the heavens appear clear, and suddenly lightning occurs. Number 6. Vikings left their horns behind and never wore horned helmets in combat. The entire concept of horned helmets was invented by theater costume designers during the 19th century. They were crafting outfits for operatic productions and believed horns added dramatic flair. They inadvertently created one of history's most enduring fashion myths. Wearing headgear that gives opponents perfect handholds is impractical, and antlers could easily snag on tree branches. During raids, authentic Viking helmets discovered by archaeologists were simple protective gear, possibly featuring a nose guard. Some horned helmets were indeed unearthed in Denmark, but these date back 3,000 years before the Viking era. Those ancient helmets, were not for combat. They served ritualistic purposes, akin to a regal headpiece. Certain 19th century opera costume designers likely encountered these ancient ceremonies. Let's have the Vikings wear these. Today, countless people believe Vikings paraded around with antlers on their heads. Number 5. Your razor does not make you hairier. You've likely heard that shaving causes hair to regrow thicker and darker. That is utter nonsense. When you shave, you give each hair a minuscule blunt trim. Picture slicing a tree trunk horizontally with a chainsaw. The resulting stump feels rougher than the naturally tapering tip of a branch. The same principle applies to your hair. When it grows back, it feels coarser because you've created thousands of tiny blunt-ended hair shafts. Scientists have investigated this for decades and discovered shaving has no influence whatsoever on hair growth. Your hair's thickness, color, and growth rate are determined by your genes. That razor is not rewriting your DNA. If shaving truly made hair grow thicker, every man experiencing hair loss would shave his head daily. We'd have found the remedy for baldness in a can of shaving cream. Yet Jeff Bezos remains bald, despite having access to countless high-end razors. The myth endures because the prickly texture feels convincing. When it grows back, it's the same old hair, just with a blunted tip. Number 4. Feel free to take a dip at any time. Your mother likely advised you to wait half an hour after eating before swimming, warning you'd suffer cramps and drown. This myth is so prevalent that even lifeguards use to enforce it. However, there is no evidence whatsoever that swimming after eating is hazardous, and not a single recorded incident exists of someone drowning because they ate before diving. The theory was that after eating, blood diverts to the stomach for digestion, resulting in insufficient blood flow to limbs and causing cramps. But our bodies are capable of managing both digestion and swimming. You might experience a slight muscle pain if you swim vigorously right after a large meal, comparable to running after eating. According to the American Red Cross, it's not a genuine hazard. Competitive swimmers consume food during practice, but it's not recommended to eat a full pizza just before an intense session. Myth 3. Your head does not act like a heat chimney. Your mother likely warned you to wear a hat or risk freezing to death. The idea that you lose half your body heat from your head is false. That misconception originated from a vintage military survival guide stating that 40 to 45% of heat loss occurs via the head. In that experiment, subjects wore complete winter clothing with only their heads uncovered. Naturally, the majority of heat loss happened through the head because it was the sole exposed area. The head accounts for roughly 10% of total body surface area. Thus, it can only radiate about 10% of body heat. Heat dissipation is directly related to the amount of exposed skin, which is why your head may feel colder. This is because the head contains more superficial blood vessels, yet it does not lose significantly more heat than other uncovered areas. This recommendation only holds true for infants and young children. Since children's heads are proportionally larger relative to their bodies, they indeed lose more heat from that area. For grown-ups, however, bare arms lose as much heat as an uncovered head. Myth 2. It's widely believed goldfish have a 3-second memory, which is utterly false. In reality, these fish are quite intelligent. Researchers placed goldfish in mazes, and they not only navigated them successfully but also recalled the routes months afterward. Moreover, they can identify human faces. Picture a goldfish in its tank thinking, "Hey, it's Dave coming with food again." They are also capable of learning tricks. Some trainers have taught them to swim through rings, or even play a form of soccer. Certain goldfish can distinguish between various musical pieces, all with a brain tinier than a pea. Researchers believe that examining goldfish brains could enhance our understanding of human memory. Myth 1. Chewing gum does not linger for years. The tail that swallowed gum remains in your stomach for 7 years is false. It moves through your digestive tract exactly like other food. The sole distinction is that your body cannot digest it. Consider gum akin to corn kernels. It simply goes straight through. The majority of gum exits your system within 1 to 2 days and does not adhere to your internal organs. Your stomach is continuously in motion, propelling contents forward. As for the tails of gum causing issues, provided you are not regularly swallowing large quantities, you are likely safe. People have chewed various substances for millennia. Ancient Greeks chewed tree resin, while Mayans chewed chicle. No one perished from a 7-year buildup of gum. Gum does not adhere to your stomach, but it can cling to pavements for years. That concludes today's video. I will continue producing similar content, so subscribe to watch future episodes.